Alright, so recently I've done a couple one brand tutorials. I did one on ColourPop, one on Milani Cosmetics, and today we are taking it high end, doing one on Charlotte Tilbury makeup. You might be thinking, wow, that's an expensive full face of makeup. Yes, it is. It is indeed. Charlotte ain't cheap. So I reached out to Charlotte Tilbury to see if I could pick out some products for this video. They kindly let me do that. This is not sponsored at all, not getting paid to make this, and I always give you guys my complete honest thoughts on products, as you know, and you will find out in this video as well, because there were some hits, there were also some misses, so that doesn't sway the way that I review products whatsoever. I'm removed from PR lists all the time. I'm used to it. It's not what I base my reviews around. But I did want to be able to make this video for you guys and test out a bunch of stuff from the brand so that you don't have to and you can know what might be worth it and what might not be. So if you're excited to see what I think of a bunch of Charlotte Tilbury makeup and you enjoy this video while you're watching, you can give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, I upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. All right, so I only have moisturizer on my face right now. I chose a really basic one so it's not like overly glowy or anything because I'm going to be using a lot of glowy products and I want to see really how much glow those have, you know what I'm saying? So one of those glowy products we're going to be starting out with is the Wonder Glow. So this is a primer. It says Instant Soft Focus Beauty Flash Primer. It looks a little bit dark, but I'm guessing it's gonna like sheer out because it's a primer. I did do a video where I got a makeover at Charlotte Tilbury and they used some of these products, but I haven't like played around with them myself, and also my eyes were like closed the entire time basically, so I didn't really get a grip on the products in that video. It's always different when you're like hands-on. These, by the way, were from Amazon. They're like no bend clips, so they don't put a dent in your hair. All right. So I have tried the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. I had like a deluxe sample size that is actually in my travel bag right now. Not that I'm traveling, but I really don't like the scent, and this has a really similar scent. It smells like the bathroom to me. Some people would say rose. I think it smells like bathroom spray. I know a lot of people love that product for underneath makeup and stuff. I just personally didn't really feel like it was worth the money, and I think also the scent might have just been like really putting me off from it. So this feels silky. It does feel like moisturizing, but also silky at the same time. It's definitely not quite as glowy as my Essence Fresh Fit and Awake primer. This one's more glowy. This is also like $3 or $5 around there. Oh, it says you can use this over foundation or instead of foundation. I mean, that gave literally no coverage, so I don't know how you'd use that instead of foundation, but that's cool. You can use it over foundation. Speaking of foundation, so I have two here. A long time ago, I reviewed the Magic Foundation, and this one is in the shade 1, and I think it's going to be too light, but I think when he did my makeup in that video, I think he did use the shade 1 on me, but I ordered the Airbrush Flawless Foundation. I think this is one of their new ones in the shade 2, Neutral. So I think this one is what we're going to try today. And if I like it off of first impressions, maybe I'll do a full day Foundation Friday wear test on it if you guys want to see that. This bottle is freaking beautiful. That's one thing. I do love the Charlotte Tilbury packaging. I feel like it's a very like classy glam look. Kind of reminds me of like the Great Gatsby, like that era. But this is supposed to be full coverage. So it says a full coverage foundation with a flawless matte long-lasting finish. So I do like matte foundations, even though my skin is a little bit on the drier side. I like matte foundations if they look soft focus and like a soft matte, like the Lawless foundation. I'm gonna try it with my IT Cosmetics brush today. Very fragranced. Wow, even this shade might be too light. A little bit goes a long way, so I'm kind of spreading this across. Getting good coverage. I can see my scarring coming through a tiny bit, so on the full coverage spectrum, I would say this is light full coverage, but it does look like it has some decent coverage. It's looking nice. It's looking a little makeup-y in certain areas, but overall it's looking nice, and I do actually feel like I can see some of the glow coming through. It doesn't look like totally matte. On my upper lip, it's not looking the best, but let's try a sponge on the other side. Okay, so on this side I'm getting about the same coverage. I actually have a little bit more redness on this side of my face, so the fact that that covered up pretty evenly, yeah, I would say sponge or brush with this one is fine. And I like the neutral undertone. It's looking a little cakey, like right between my eyebrows and then also around my nose area and like upper lip. It's definitely looking a little bit just dry, textured, makeup-y on me. So I'm very excited to try this product because I haven't heard anyone talk about this. Everyone talks about a different Charlotte Tilbury concealer that comes in packaging like this one. That one he did use in the video. I know it's very light coverage, so I knew I wasn't going to be into that one. So I wanted to try the Magic Vanish Under Eye and Face Sheet for Intense Color Correction. So this is in the shade 1 Fair Pale, the lightest one. Oh, cute. Look at this little packaging. Uh-oh. Wait, what? Okay, I know this is supposed to be a color corrector, but for being the lightest shade, that is pretty peach. Okay, so I guess we're going to use this to correct some of the purple tones, and then I'll have to go over it with a lighter concealer. Oh, weird. Okay, so that's just like a top color. It actually looks much lighter when you blend it. Okay, so maybe this will work. I'm gonna use my finger for this. I have been loving this similar kind of product from Becca. It's the Under Eye Brightening Corrector. This one is awesome. Still a bit dark for me, so I am gonna have to add like a tiny bit of a lighter product, but this is supposed to be a corrector, so I know those can tend to be a little bit dark and orange. Okay, so I'd say light coverage. I like the Becca one because it's still light and brightening on my skin, so I don't need to use that plus a concealer. I can just use the Becca one. Let's use a little bit of my CoverGirl True Blend Undercover because this one is light, and I only need like a dab of this. So since I already have product under my eyes, I don't want to add a ton right now. So they were out of stock of their pressed powder. I really wanted to try it, but I still will try that at some point. So I'm just going to use a different powder to set my under eyes, the one I use every day lately. Okay, so I just realized I don't have a brow product from Charlotte Tilbury, so they must have been out of stock. Bummer. That one was really good. When he did my makeup, he used a brow pencil on me in the dark brown shade, and it looked awesome. Like, I loved the shade of it. It was a very rich brown. I literally have about 20 brow pencils to go through right now, so I'm not going to be buying it until I use up some of these, but once I do, I would definitely purchase the Charlotte Tilbury one. It has that kind of like angled tip. So I just put on some brows. For blush, bronzer, and highlight, I have a couple different products here to try. Wow, that's a cool box. What the heck? I've never seen that. That was super cool. Wait, how did that stay on? I'm confused now. So this is the Film Star Bronze and Glow Face Sculpt and Highlight. So he did use this shade on me in that video. It pulled very warm on my skin tone, but I kind of want to try it again. And then there's also a highlight. But then I have this friggin' beautiful palette, which I think is limited edition. It's the Glowgasm Face Palette. It says for skin and eye highlighters. So you could use these on your eyes as well, which I do that a lot with face highlights, even if they don't say that. But this palette, oh my god, excites me. Holy crap, that shade I think is gonna look beautiful. I'm wondering if I could use this one as a bronzer. It looks like it does have a glow, but it's not like super intense, so you might even be able to use that as a bronzer if you're around my skin tone. But let's first try the Sculpt shade in this palette. Okay, I'm gonna use my BH Cosmetics brush for this because I know this one pulls pretty warm, so I don't want a ton of it. Oh, that's looking very patchy. Okay, let me try and switch brushes. Okay, you really gotta blend this one or else it can look patchy. Yeah, just very like peachy looking on my skin tone. Look at how it's like clinging. By the way, that foundation sets down a bit, so it doesn't feel like super tacky. Like, it shouldn't be really gripping onto this a whole lot. It doesn't feel like a foundation that I needed to powder, but maybe. Okay, so I'm going to use a powder brush and nothing on it, just kind of like tone that down. So I do really like glowy blushes. I think they can be really pretty, especially for spring and summer. So I am going to try this one, this pink one, as a little bit of a slight blush on my skin. I don't have another blush to try from her anyways, so. Ooh, I like that. Oh, I like that shade. It is giving a definite glow, but it's totally wearable as a blush, and it's adding this very pretty, really light kind of highlight look to my face. Like, it almost looks like that glow from within look. Oh, I like that shade. That is really pretty. Now I'm very excited to try the lightest shade, so I'm going to use this as a face highlight. Oh yeah. That is pretty. Oh, I love a good champagne, like icy highlight. Ooh. Before I go in with that same shade on my Cupid's bow nose, I do want to add a touch of the Beauty Light Wand Hollywood filter. So it's in the shade Spotlight, and I do like this. However, I have a couple drugstore ones that are pretty similar. So let me know if you guys would want to see a video on that, like the best glowy drugstore products or something. I do also find that it can tend to lift up the makeup, and I noticed that in that video too. See how it kind of like picked up the foundation? But you could use this also underneath foundation, like if you were wearing a really matte foundation and you wanted a bit of glow to come through. I could have added that underneath on the high points of my face, or you could use it on no makeup kind of days. But like I said, I do have just a couple other products that are cheaper that I think are just as good. So I'm going to apply that same light shade again. to same areas and just kind of like top it off right there. I really like the shade of that. Let's try this kind of like peachy one. Ooh, you know what we could do? Why don't we use the bronzy shade and apply it to up here and give a bit of a glow. Okay, so I'm gonna take this shade. That seemed to kind of like pick up the foundation right there. Maybe I need to use a different brush. Let me try it with my Flower Beauty brush. Okay, so it's adding a little bit of warmth and glow. I do feel like it's picking up the foundation a bit though. I'm gonna actually add a touch of the other Charlotte Tilbury Sculpt powder. Just a tiny, tiny bit. See how warm that is? Even like a touch of that. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that shade is quite for me, but if you like warm bronzers, then you would like this. But just to use this one too, I'm gonna add a little bit, this highlight, right to the middle of my eyebrow and up. That one seems to be a little bit more gold, like textured. This one is definitely more of like a wet look, intense champagne. So I do prefer the other one, but that looks pretty too on my forehead. So I do want to set everything. Charlotte Tilbury doesn't make a setting spray, but I don't want it to be like super, super glowy. So I'm going to use my Urban Decay All Nighter Summer Solstice. This is what I use if I want to set my face, but I'm not trying to add like a ton of glow because I do still kind of want to keep the glow in certain areas, but not all over glow today. Just kind of feeling the more matte. Okay, that definitely helped things kind of just like melted in a bit more. I still don't love how it looks right here and around my nose, but overall that did help and I'm digging the glow. Charlotte Tilbury doesn't make an eye primer, so I'm just gonna use my MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. So for eyes, I have two of their little quads to try, and I believe the Copper Charge is a new one. They have this really pretty greenish gold one that I really want to try. That one was sold out. And then this is the Luxury palette. So apparently they look very similar, which I didn't realize online, like very similar. So as you can see, these are very similar tones, but obviously the matte shades are really different. And then there is a lighter champagne shade in here. So I'm going to start out by blending this shade. Actually, you know what? I'm going to start out by blending this shade into the crease because it's a little bit lighter. All right, then I'm going to take this super warm matte shade. Ooh, that looks like buttery. This reminds me of Sienna by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It looks very similar to that color. Ooh, that's blending out really pretty too. Then I'm going to take this dark purple brown kind of color and focus that right into my outer corner, but like lower down and bring it down at an angle. I really like doing this if I'm going for like a kind of sultry, smoky look. If you bring it down at an angle, it just adds this really nice kind of shape to the eye. That shade is really pretty though, and it has virtually no fallout, which is great for like a deep brown shade like this. So the Luxury palette looks like it's a little bit more warm tone as far as the copper and the gold. If you like more cool toned golds, I would say go with the other one. This one is, oh wait, just kidding. They're both Luxury palette. This one is called the Queen of Glow. This one is called Copper Charge. So I would say go with Copper Charge if you like a little like less yellow and orange in them. I'm going to take this shade on my finger. Ooh, that feels like one of those kind of dry, but super metallic. Not dry in the sense that it doesn't feel buttery, but just there's like no kick up at all. And it feels like you're not getting anything, but then you are. So I'm going to press that onto the lid and blend it into that brown shade. Might actually need to use a brush with this one. Not super, super opaque. I can still kind of see my skin underneath. So I'm going to try actually wetting that shade. I'm just going to spray a little MAC Fix Plus, seeing if that kind of makes it pop a bit more. There we go. Okay, I just got up to change a battery out and was looking at my face in natural lighting, and everything looks really good. Like, I feel like I like it a lot better in natural lighting, so I'll definitely show you guys a clip at the end. But yeah, it just looks very like glowy, but the foundation looks good too. So I'm going to take the lightest shade, which is this one, and bring that closer in and melt it into the goldish shade. Okay, so this one's kind of more of like a pinkish. So I'm definitely going to take the highlighting palette. This should give me that pop, so I'm going to take the lightest shade. There we go. That's what I'm looking for, people. I'm not quite sure what I want to do on the lower lash line yet, but at first I'm going to go in with the Feline Flick Liquid Liner. Ooh, that looks very black. Okay, so for a felt tip, I like that. Usually I'm more of a brush tip kind of gal, but that is very black. I'm gonna make sure it's dried down before I look up. Very black. That was easy. It didn't get like the dragging kind of marks a lot of felt tip liners do on me, so I do like that one. My eyes are burning a tiny bit. Like that. Would use that again. Okay, I think I'm going to use these lashes. I want something like really fluttery but still kind of dramatic. So these are the Ardell Studio Effects Demi Wispies. But I think first let's just take a little bit of the deepest brown shade. I don't want to do anything crazy on the lower lash line today, like a really smoked out one. I kind of just want to keep it tighter in. Then just press that right along my lash line really close in and just create like a little bit of a line down there. Then I'm just going to take the LA Girl Super Bright eyeliner. So before I go in with lashes, I do want to apply a Charlotte Tilbury mascara. So this is the Legendary Lashes Volume 2. This is the one that he used in that video, and I really like how it looked when he did it. And I do like this mascara a lot. It's more of like a wet formula, but it gives you those like nice kind of cat eye lashes, but kind of a mix between volume and cat eye and kind of like wispy. So I do like the look that this one gives. I do find though that it doesn't wear well. It kind of like flakes off a little bit throughout the day, but I like the effect that it gives, so I'm kind of like torn. Again, the kind of thing where it's like I just have similar drugstore mascaras that you can get a similar look. If you want one that's very similar, I would say go with the CoverGirl Exhibitionist. Gives you like the same kind of fluttery look lashes. Okay, so our eyes are done. My lashes are just drying on this side right here. I just applied some bottom mascara. I added a little bit of that same highlight that I used on my inner corner, just brought it down, and I really like how the eyes turned out. I like doing like smokier on the top and then just like nothing on the bottom. I feel like sometimes it can make it look more awake. So for liner, I'm going to use Iconic Nude, the Lip Cheat lip liner. And does this twist up? No. So Charlotte Tilbury is kind of known for their nude lip products. I do really like the shade of this lip liner though. I've been reaching for it a lot because it's very neutral and almost just more cool toned, which can be really hard to find in lip products. So I actually have 3 different Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks, which I did not realize, but I just found this one in my collection. It's the JK Magic. I don't know if they still make this. I literally haven't used this in forever. I just found it in one of my lipstick bins when I was like looking for Charlotte Tilbury products that I already had, which was nothing. And then here's the shade Nude Kate. So this is the one that I purchased after I got my makeup done. And then this is Kim KW. This one I got off of Glambot, I think. This I think is the lightest, but it's very peachy. So I might layer these two. I think I'm going to first put on Nude Kate, and then I'll maybe put on the other one if I feel like I need it more peachy. I do love the formula of these lipsticks. There's something about them. Really nice. They smell like vanilla. They're not too moisturizing where they feel slidey, but they're not like drying at all. So I'm going to add now a touch of Kim KW. This one is definitely more like pinky. So this is the final look using mostly Charlotte Tilbury makeup. So my overall standout product, I would say, is the limited edition palette. First of all, packaging is beautiful, and I just see myself using this a ton. If you're around my skin tone, you could use this shade or this shade as a blush if you like more shimmery blushes, but they're not like glittery shimmery. They're just very light reflective, which is what I love about them. Also really like the eyeliner. I think the eyeliner is really nice and black, easy to control. The lip liner, obviously, I knew I already liked, and the lipsticks. Those are kind of the standouts. The foundation I'm going to have to wear again. So far, I do like it. I don't think it's the most flattering, like I said, over texture and stuff, but I don't not like it. Okay, so here's the makeup in natural lighting. I'm going to zoom in. I mean, the base looks pretty good. The highlight as well, I love these kind of like wet look highlights where they don't look super textured or glittery. It just gives you that really beautiful soft like sheen on the cheeks, and that's exactly what it's doing. So I do want to mix this in with something a little bit more smoothing. I would probably mix it in with the Hailey's BB drops, honestly, because it would just add that like really skin-like look to it. So I think that could be a good combo. I think I'm kind of most underwhelmed by the Wonder Glow. Like I said, I just feel like there's a very comparable drugstore dupe that's way cheaper, and I liked it better. So this one I just feel like you don't need to spend the money on. Corrector, same kind of thing. I'm going to keep playing around with this and see if I like it better on no makeup. Eyeshadows, very pretty, like no complaints about the formula or anything. I just feel like I can get a very similar look from this palette right here, the Maybelline Nudes of New York. There's definitely like some comparable ones. So that's it. Let me know what you guys think of the look and products I tried, and if there are any other Charlotte Tilbury makeup products that I need to check out, let me know down below. I'm gonna link everything I tried on my face today in the description box down below. I always mention my nail polish color, any rings, anything you want to know, earrings, everything is down below always. But I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.